cakes, Michael?
They were delicious.
Yeah?
Yeah, they were really, really good.
Turned out well?
Yeah.
That's good.
I actually thought about bringing you one, but because I come here from work and I've been like driving around, it was going to have to sit in a hot car all day, so.
That wouldn't be ideal.
No, it wouldn't. Maybe one of these days I'll bring you one.
That'd be cool. I haven't had steak in ages.
Well, there you go. I'll have to bring you one of them boys.
I did make that pulled pork I talked about, though.
I was just going to ask you how that was.
It turned out really well. I don't have a slow cooker. I have an Instant Pot.
Okay.
And the last time I made pulled pork, like it didn't tear apart very easily. So I was trying some different stuff this time around.
Okay.
I was making it for when Sean came over on Sunday. He usually comes over around 2 or 3.
Okay.
So I had put it in the Instant Pot the night before. And it only needed to be in a slow cooker for 12 hours, but I ended up leaving it in there for about 16 hours.
Okay.
And it turned out perfect. It ripped right apart.
Hell yeah.
Tasted fucking great.
What kind of pork did you use?
Pork butt.
Pork butt?
I accidentally grabbed bone in though instead of boneless.
Okay.
So I had to like cut around the bone and like try to like get big enough chunks so that it wouldn't be like too small to be pulled pork.
I got
you know, it's got to be in the big chunks for a long time and then just get ripped apart.
Right.
So I couldn't like just cut off pieces. So I was trying to hack off big old chunks of it.
You couldn't just drop the whole thing in there?
I mean, I probably could have, but the recipe was for 3 to 4 pounds, and with the bone, it was almost 7.
Oh.
So when I bought it without realizing that it was bone in, my plan was just to cut it in half and freeze the rest and use it for another day.
Right on.
But when I realized there was a bone in it, I had to get creative.
Okay. Fair enough.
But it ended up working out.
Nice. Good. I'm glad that turned out well for you.
Yeah. I do have a quick less than happy update.
Oh.
People who follow me on Twitch are going to be tired of hearing about this, I'm sure, but it's important for me to talk about. I've been talking about in the last couple weeks my video on Berserk.
Okay.
And just talking about Berserk in general because it's amazing. They announced last week that the author had actually died.
Oh no.
Yeah, which is really upsetting. Because number one, he's a brilliant man. Number two, wasn't that old, 54 years old.
Oof.
Number three, Berserk isn't finished.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's absolutely heartbreaking. I've been reading One Piece since I was 15, you know?
Yeah.
And One Piece has been going since 1997. And one of my greatest fears is like the author dying before it was finished.
Yeah.
And you know, I was always kind of sitting there like, I don't know what my reaction will be, but I know it won't feel good.
Right.
And I feel like this week I've kind of gotten a taste of what that could be like, because Berserk is like, for the short amount of time I've been reading it, literally like my second favorite manga. It's so fucking good.
Ugh.
And it's been hard. It's been hard to deal with, to be honest with you. Like I don't know that I expected it to affect me as much as it has, but it's upsetting. It really sucks to hear that Kentaro Miura, that's his name, Kentaro Miura, just passed away. But you know, he's like I said, 54 years old. He was born in 1966. Been writing Berserk since 1989.
Oh damn.
And like he also had like a one-shot prototype version of it that came out in 1988. So a little bit longer than that, really.
Yeah.
Spent most of his life really working on Berserk, this masterpiece of a project.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking as a creative person, to be able to put your entire like being, your entire person into one project for such a long period of time and to like make it who you are effectively, and for that project to have an impact like Berserk has had. Like, you know, Berserk isn't super well known here in the West, but like over there, it's a game changer, really. Like him passing away before Berserk is finished would be like J.R.R. Tolkien dying in the middle of Lord of the Ring without finishing it.
Gotcha.
So, you know, it's influenced so many other things, inspired so many other people's. It's genre shifting. Monster Hunter and Dark Souls, basically my two favorite video game series, were both inspired by Berserk.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, you know, while it sucks to know that he's no longer with us and that Berserk is never really going to finish, like from what I know, his assistants are planning to continue on with it, but it's never really going to be the same. It's not going to be him
right
anymore. So but to know that he was able to leave that kind of mark with his work, and to know that like he was that passionate about it for that period of time. Like I talked about how like I would want to be remembered for my passion. Mm-hmm. He'll be remembered for his passion, like regardless of the fact that like he's going, like Berserk isn't going to be finished by him, or that he died so young. Like he lived a fucking great life as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
It just sucks. It sucks. It really does.
Damn. This really isn't a joke, but he deserves an F in the chat.
He really does. Big old F in the chat for Kentaro Miura. An absolutely genius man, an incredible artist and writer, and it sucks. It really sucks.
Damn. Well, I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's really crazy. It's insane that he would, pass away in the middle of me working on this giant video expressing my love for Berserk.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel really good about the video that I'm making. If I were making a video about how Berserk is an overrated piece of shit, like I would cancel.
right.
I would cancel that video.
Yeah.
But my video was already about like sharing Berserk with people who have not experienced it already.
Yeah.
So I feel that much more passionate about making it now that he's no longer with us. Like I want that much more for people to know about Berserk.
Yeah. Well, okay. That's kind of cool for what you're doing, at least.
Yeah. So for the past few days, like I haven't been streaming at all. I've just been like sitting there like grinding on this video, trying really hard to like make it what I want it to be. And I'm gonna have to add a part at the end, talking about how he died in the middle of me making this video.
Yeah.
Because when I recorded the video, he was still alive, or at least as far as I knew. He had died a couple weeks before they actually announced it.
Oh.
So at least as far as I knew when I was recording it, he was still alive. So I had to like amend the ending of my video to account for that, because one of the things I mentioned in my video was how difficult it was to accept that I have to wait for new chapters after having caught up.
Yeah.
And now, even if there are new chapters, they aren't going to be like made by him. So it all fucking sucks. It's hard to accept,
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of celebrity deaths that I give a shit about. There aren't a lot of people I've never met who have affected me the way certain manga authors have. And despite the short amount of time that Kentaro Miura and Berserk have been within my conscious, they've had a pretty profound impact on me.
I gotcha.
So it's difficult, but like I said, speaking as a creative type, I would want the kind of death that he has, knowing that I left such a huge impact on genres and on the world itself through my passion. So rest in peace to that absolute gamer. And I thank him for the work that he left us with. I know that's a bit of a somber topic for the podcast, but I felt like it warranted talking about, considering how much I've been talking about Berserk in recent podcasts.
I gotcha.
It's just absolutely insane that like while I'm working on this video, that would be the time.
Oh,
it wasn't coronavirus though, so at least we've got that going for us.
Hey, there we go. Have you had anything positive going on the last week?
It's been a real hard week.
I gotcha.
I've just been working on my video. I will say I'm really excited about this video. Like, it's one of the strongest videos I've ever written, and like the intro to it, like the intro graphic that I was able to create, and the way I was able to mix it with like the music and the footage, the panels. I was giving myself chills, like looking at it out in the finished product. So I'm really excited for people to see it.
I gotcha. There was something I was gonna bring up, but I'll save it for later. I want to make a little more smooth transition.
Sure, fair enough.
But that said, our boy Bradley, right?
Yeah.
You remember how he like has the thing set up where when he's driving in his car and you send him a text, it gives you that automated response saying like, this person's driving.
Yeah.
Well, that happened. It happened last night. He and I were texting a little bit, and I I was like, oh, God damn it, Bradley, classic. And he's like, actually, I'm just sitting at my table. I don't know what's going on with my phone. And it reminded me of how our old manager Tom and I both thought that was like a feature that Bradley had to like manually turn on. Apparently, it just automatically turns on when he's in his car or like whatever motion it is. But we thought it was super funny that he would turn it on because he lived like a mile away.
Yeah. Super short drive.
God, you can't just ignore your phone for fucking 4 minutes. But
I think I want to get. I think I want to set something up on my phone that, like, if I'm in the middle of something a little more delicate, it'll send out a message like, Mack is getting some hot puss right now. He'll get back to you soon. The only problem is that would go out to all the women that I'm cheating on, so I can't have them know.
Right. Well, I mean, you could just say like, Mack's cranking it right now.
Well, but then what if they want to like come over, you know? Like that doesn't work out either.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. What could you say that wouldn't
wouldn't attract the women in my life?
It wouldn't attract them, but wouldn't completely deter them, and from future encounters with you.
I'll have it send out that I'm in the middle of a really intense Magic the Gathering game. That ought to make them leave me alone.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
If you had a booty call text, what would it be?
Wait, to attract or deter?
Either or. I don't know. Well, if you're in the middle of a situation and you need people to leave you alone, but you also need them to not know what you're doing.
I mean, I'd probably just say that my carbon monoxide detector's been going off. It may not be safe in my apartment.
Fair enough.
But like we've taught people, apparently he just ignored it and nothing bad happens.
It didn't this time, and one time is all you need to prove a hypothesis. One time is all you need to prove a hypothesis.
Yeah,
so.
I gotcha.
That was a very botched word. Fucking pathetic, Mac. Get your head in the game. It's podcast time.
So my goofy dog, Lily, got a couple interesting things that happened with her in the last week. I think this was on Friday. I get up, ready to go to work, take her outside. She usually only poops like once a day. I liked for her to go in the morning if she can, so that, she's not holding it all day.
Yeah.
So I'm outside. I'm like, I got this pretty big grassy courtyard area. She's like walking around. Where does she decide to drop a deuce? Right on top of a manhole cover in the middle of the grass. Just right on top of it.
Nice.
Yep, that was her choice.
It's a really solid spot.
Yeah.
Literally.
Oh, bump. And the other thing that she did, so like, she's goofy when she gets a drink. We've talked about that, how she's
goofy in general.
Right. Well, we've talked about specifically her and her goofiness of drinking water.
Yeah.
Well, the other day, like I watched her like walk up to her bowl, and sometimes she hesitates when she goes to get a drink. Well, she just like went in to go for it and just like dunked her nose into the water bowl, and then like startled herself and like backed up like 6 inches and like looked at it and then like went back in again. And I was like, dog, like, what are you doing?
You've been at this for years. How?
Yeah, I don't completely know how, but I wonder if some of it has to do with the fact that she's got that
heckin' honker of a nose.
That big honking nose, and she just can't see where the water is over it.
Maybe. I mean, her like eyes don't stick out very far either. They're like flat to her head.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Her eyes are like kind of close together, but kind of on the side of her head at the same time. Like
she's kind of got like a horse's vision.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, just put some blinders on her.
Yeah. I don't. Maybe she was just trying to go scuba diving and it didn't work out. She forgot her gear.
Yeah,
in her water bowl.
Right. What about Luna? What's she been up to?
Nothing really interesting. Just doing normal Luna shit.
I mean, while we've been talking, she leapt like a solid 12 feet off of her cat tree across the room.
She does that sometimes. When Sean texted me at like 3 a.m. that Kentaro Miura had died, and I got up immediately and recorded a short video, which I uploaded and then unlisted a couple days later because I didn't need it up there at the time. But like while I'm in the middle, like sitting in front of my camera, like giving this really solemn thank you and rest in peace, Luna was fucking like going crazy, running around the apartment, like super ruining the mood.
Always. That's always how that kind of crap works.
Yeah, she was just she was going crazy. I don't know what else was up with her.
Oh gosh. Freaking Luna. Goofy little cat.
That little pussy.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago when I had Sean over for watching movies and whatnot, we got Popeye's chicken sandwiches.
Hell yeah.
He'll usually pick up food on his way over and I'll give him a 20 every now and then.
Yeah.
But I like didn't fully finish my sandwich. I only had like a little bit of chicken left just kind of sitting on the plate. And so I just put it on the coffee table. Luna like got up onto my lap and like sat down for a bit. But then she like noticed the chicken and she got up. And so like I'm sitting on the long part of my couch. You know, I got like the L couch.
Yeah.
So Luna like walks out onto my legs and then like stretches her face across to like smell the chicken. And I like grab her tail and like yank her back. I'm like, because that's my indicator to her like to like leave that alone.
Yeah.
She completely fucking ignored it. She kept like stretching herself out while I continued to like tug on her tail. I was like, how much of a deterrent you need? So I had to like pick her up and pull her back.
Damn, girl was committed to that chicken sandwich.
She was ready to lose her tail over it.
I mean, in all fairness, those Popeye's chicken sandwiches are pretty friggin' delicious.
They are really good for sure. But she would not quit. Like cats hate when you tug on their tail, but Luna was willing to put up with it to try to get that sandwich.
Well, now is she normally like that if you touch her tail or?
Yeah, well, I mean, usually like when I play with Luna, like I'll pet her a couple of times and she'll like walk away from me. I'll like give her tail a little tug and she'll immediately like reach back and try to swipe at me.
I gotcha.
Touching a cat's tail, that's not a big deal. Tugging on it, they hate that.
So again, my goofy dog. This isn't necessarily her. This is like a breed thing. Bull terriers were bred in part to hunt rats. And so they gave them like
kind of look like rats considering.
Right. Kind of ironic, isn't it?
Yeah.
They bred them to have like a really thick, strong tail so that
it's not how I like my bread, but okay. I'm sorry. That was so stupid.
God. Okay.
Don't judge me. I have Dumbo brain.
Dumbo brain. All right. No, but so they could get like pulled out of like small spaces that they had like crawled into. You just grab them by their tail and yank them back. And sure enough, like I can pull on her tail and she doesn't have any issue with that.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. She's a thick girl too. And she's strong. So pulling her by that, like you'd think that would be a little upsetting, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Apparently she cool.
I wish I had a tail. Having a tail would be so cool. Like I would want like a really dexterous tail that I could like grab things with.
Like a monkey tail.
Yeah. Maybe like jerk myself off with my tail, you know? That'd be sick.
Right. Do you think
just like coil it around?
Do you think elephants can jerk themselves off with their trunk?
Oh, maybe. Do you think they can give themselves blowjobs?
Oh shit. Can elephants blow themselves?
Dude, crazy.
Like, has there ever been any research done into this?
I need answers.
Okay, all you elephant scientists out there, just give us a comment. Let us know. Damn, I like that.
I kind of hate it, but I want to know the answer.
I know. You went there with the monkey tail, so it was the next logical step.
Everything goes there with us.
Yeah, it's fine.
In some way.
Yeah.
You know?
Since we apparently have like boring weather segment on the show, it's been like hot as Satan's taint for the last couple days.
It's spicy out there today.
Yeah, it is spicy. I think it's like
85.
Yeah. I knew it was like approaching 90. And then I saw it like it might not even get to 60 on Friday.
That's not shocking.
No. Yeah.
God, I fucking hate this state.
It happens.
Can't stand this shithole, this frozen wasteland.
Mac, like I had brought this up to you, but for our listeners, we're gonna try a little game today and see if this is any fun. Might completely suck. Mac, I got a couple of questions for you, and I'm curious to hear your answers. So I'm just gonna fire off a couple questions at you and just answer it as quickly as possible. It doesn't have to be a perfect answer. Just whatever you think. Okay. All right. So, question number 1: what's the most attractive cartoon character?
Raven from Teen Titans. I was a kid when I was attracted to her.
Okay. What food mascot do you think you would be able to most easily beat up in a fight?
Chester Cheetah. That motherfucker's thin.
Okay.
Kick his ass.
If you could only eat at one fast food restaurant for the rest of your life.
Steak and Shake.
I don't consider that fast food. Go again. Remember, nothing with the waiter.
Taco Bell.
Okay. What's the one fast food restaurant you would choose to never eat at again?
Arby's.
Okay. And would you rather be too hot or too cold?
Fucking. That's an obvious answer. Too hot.
Okay. Well, these aren't all obvious answers. So, most attractive cartoon character, by far, Jessica Rabbit from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
That's a really good one.
But also, I had time to think about answers to these.
Yeah.
I wasn't put on the spot.
I feel like every kid of my generation had a crush on Raven from Teen Titans. Obviously, you probably don't know who that is.
Not a fucking clue.
I had cheeseburger boomer, but no. I feel like everyone in my generation is super attracted to goth girls because of Raven from Teen Titans.
Okay.
So
okay, fair enough. As far as the food mascot, see, I think Chester Cheetah, I think he'd be too quick.
See, he'd be quick, but if you could get him,
I gotcha. See,
he's so small. He has stick limbs. He could just fucking kick his ass.
See, I was thinking more like Pillsbury Doughboy.
But I feel like he could absorb a lot of blows.
Oh, that's a good point. That is a very good point.
Same with the Michelin tire man. If you punched him, your face would just get stuck between the tires.
Okay. Oh, my other one is specifically that yellow peanut M&M. He's like a dopey motherfucker.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah, I don't think he'd put up much of a fight at all. But some of those dudes are tough. Tony the Tiger, I wouldn't fuck with him.
Oh my god, that dude is jacked.
Right? And at first I was thinking maybe the Keebler elves,
Oh, but they're real little. If you can get them, you could smush them. But
yeah, but you don't know what sort of elf power they got. I don't know if I want to fuck with that.
Yeah. And the leprechaun, Lucky's Charm, I think his name's Lucky. That motherfucker is slippery.
He's slippery. I'm kind of on the fence about the Trix Rabbit.
Yeah, he was definitely slippery, but not Lucky slippery.
Right. Kids outsmart him. So I think maybe I could
Actually,
probably
he'd be good too, because he also had stick limbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could probably kick his ass.
Yeah. So the fast food restaurant that I would keep for the rest of my life. This one I really put some thought into. Because my first thought was Taco Bell. It isn't necessarily my favorite of all time, but it is so good so frequently.
Yeah. Now that I'm having time to think, I think I would change my answer to Wendy's though.
Oh, damn. I love that you just said that.
Is that what yours was?
No. So the one I would keep, I ended up settling on Arby's.
Really?
Yeah, I fucking love Arby's.
I'm not a big fan. It's fine, but I hardly ever get Arby's.
Part of my reasoning for going into that is it's pretty much the one fast food restaurant where I can't really replicate even close at home. Whatever. I can make burgers or nuggets or tacos at home.
That's fair.
A solid roast beef sandwich, that takes some special skills there,
I guess I see your point.
The one fast food restaurant I would never eat at again. I thought for sure we were going to have the same answer on this. Burger King.
Oh, I didn't even think about Burger King. Yeah, fuck Burger King.
Yeah, I fucking hate Burger King.
Yeah, I changed my answer to Burger King if I could.
But mine was between Burger King and Wendy's.
Really? I fucking love Wendy's. Wendy's is so good.
I don't hate Wendy's. It's just not anywhere near my favorite. But,
I gotcha.
But Burger King is like, it's just so fucking awful.
Yeah, it's garbage food.
I think I've had it maybe like 3 times.
I don't remember the last time I had it. The last time I had it was our plant versus meat video. But before then, I don't know the last time I had it. Like literally years.
So I thought about this. I think I've had it probably 3 times in maybe like 5 years. So there was the plant versus meat when I had to go and get our fucking nasty ass Whopper. There was one time I went on my lunch at World Market to go grab. Apparently, they have a taco on their menu, and I thought tacos are good. Maybe Burger King can pull this off since they can't pull off anything else.
Okay.
Nope, that fucking sucked. And there was one time, I think this was like maybe like two or 3 years ago. They were like, "Oh, 10-piece chicken nugget for $1.50," and I was like, that's really cheap. That's really freaking cheap. Like, maybe I should give them a try because I'd never had their nugs. Maybe they're good.
Cost equal to price. Or sorry, taste equal to price is what I meant to say.
Right. They were not worth more than $1.50. I mean, I don't know that they were worth that much, just not any more than that. And then I would rather be too cold. Always.
Fuck that. I'm tired of being cold.
Well, and my thought with that is,
layer more on.
You can't.
Fuck that shit. I hate wearing layers. It's so restrictive. It's so uncomfortable. Fuck that shit.
But you can only take off so many layers.
I don't get that hot. It doesn't bother me. I don't mind being sweaty. It's fine.
I mean, I don't know. For me, that's just completely miserable.
I can't stand wearing layers. It's so fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah, fair enough. But I like that. I like that we had interesting answers.
Yeah.
Some completely opposite.
Yeah. So Mike brought this idea up to me like 2 days ago. And I forgot to come up with answers because I've just been focused on my video so much and also depressed.
Oh, you forgot to come up with questions.
Sorry, I forgot to come up with questions. I think what I was going to do is just find some random ones on the internet and pose them to you. But I think instead, let's do the segment next week and I'll give you my questions.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Okay, fair enough. Well, maybe I'll come up with another 5 for next week. We'll see.
Because I haven't had time to think about the answers to the questions that I could potentially pose you anyway. So
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, blame that on my Dumbo brain. Luna is sitting in the door in my kitchen. What's up, dumbhead? Stinky monkey. Look at me. Hey, what's up, girly? You mustache buffoon.
Since I just turned my head over to the side, get yourself some donuts over at Dunkin'.
Yeah, I was feeling some donuts. Dunkin' Donuts are like the lowest form of donuts, though.
Yeah, they're not great.
Especially like we have some really great bakeries around us.
We really do.
And I used to like my apartment complex was like right across the street from like the best bakery in town.
I know which one you're talking about. That's a really good one.
Fucking miss that place. Like I haven't gone in forever because like it's not even that far away. I'm just that lazy.
Yeah.
It's not in the direction of my work at all. It is out of the way for me to go there. So I just don't ever.
Yeah.
God, I used to like every time I had a 5 a.m. shift, I would always go there and get a donut before work because they were 24 hours.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh God, they're cream filled donuts, the fucking best.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have to surprise you with some donuts one of these days because I have a couple accounts for work that are reasonably close to them, and I'm always leaving an account and heading directly here. So maybe one of these days you'll get a little cream filled
cream in my mouth.
Right? I'll provide it for you.
That'd be epic.
We are both in agreement on the donut filling, correct?
What? Oh, like fuck the custard.
Yeah.
God, I hate that shit.
God, fuck custard donuts. Why? Why do they even exist?
My stepdad John loves that. Like, he's the only person in my family who does, and he gets so much shit for it.
Oh, I mean, in his defense, I feel like more people go for the custard than the cream filled like we like.
I don't know,
but
God, I hate that.
But all those people are wrong.
It's the worst because like if you haven't bought the donuts yourself, like so you showed up at work, someone bought donuts, you don't know. And yet at the same time, the cream filled donuts are so good that like half the time it's worth the gamble.
Right.
And yet like 75% of the time it's a loss. Like you bite into that sucker and it's fucking custard filled. And then at that point you're like, well, I can't just take another donut and I am hungry. So I guess I just have to finish this. But it sucks the entire time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate it so much that I like refuse to finish the donut.
Right, exactly. But I do not want it.
No, that is never a donut that I choose. The custard filled.
It fucking sucks.
Right. Like, I don't care if it's got chocolate frosting on the top or like
chocolate, strawberry, vanilla.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Give me a glazed donut, give me a cruller. I don't fucking care.
Right.
Like pretty much every donut variety is good. Just fuck those custard filled sons of bitches.
Exactly. God. Fuck them. Gross.
But yeah, so I got some donuts. I saved a couple for the next day, only to realize that Dunkin' Donuts really don't keep overnight.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like donuts in general don't hold that well, but...
You are right, but the ones from that bakery we talked about, those definitely do hold for a day at least. But like, you know, I don't think I'd ever bought Dunkin' Donuts for myself to last overnight, because when I lived with my parents, there was 5 of us in the house and they didn't last a day.
Yeah.
We bought a dozen of them. So I found out the hard way that they really don't keep. They tasted terrible the next day.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about Sasquatch on this podcast.
I mean, a bit. I wouldn't call it a lot, but sure, yeah.
I guess it's been a couple months probably, but I did just see that there's a new show. I don't know if it's released yet or if it's coming out soon on Hulu, and I think it's just called Sasquatch. I couldn't tell if it's reality based or if it's like a scripted kind of show, but either way, I think I might have to check that out because anything Squatch is pretty fun.
You have to let me know how it ends up being.
Yeah,
I've been watching. Well, I've been working so much on my video that like I've just been watching background stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of YouTubers I really like. Their channel's called Super Mega, and one of them, Ryan, was live streaming some Minecraft a little while ago, along with a lot of other people on like one big server, and I've been watching it, and like it's so frustrating to watch him live stream because this like Ryan's a super self-conscious motherfucker. Like even more than myself.
Okay.
And so like you're watching his live stream and like I'm watching the VOD, so I'm not watching it live, but like he gets like a bunch of subscriptions, a bunch of donations, and he keeps telling people like, why are you subscribing? Why are you donating? I'm not doing anything.
Oh geez.
And then like partway through the like several times throughout his live streams, he'll be sitting there like, there's 4,000 viewers. Guys, there's other people watching. Like if you're bored, like you can go watch somebody else. You don't have to feel like you have to watch me. And I'm sitting there like, Ryan, they aren't. If they didn't want to watch you, they'd leave.
Right. Stop driving away your audience.
Fucking quit worrying about it, you self-conscious little bitch. People like watching you because you're chill. Like that's why I'm enjoying watching it.
Yeah.
He's very like chill and just like he's not trying super hard to be super funny. He's just fucking chilling. So I'm sitting there like super like pissed off because I'm like, why is this guy?
Oh, damn.
Like, God, if I had 4,000 viewers at a time, I'd be sitting there like, thank you so much.
Right?
Holy fuck.
Right?
I wouldn't be like, go watch someone else. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, man.
Mike, I'm curious to hear, as a traditional sports guy who's a little less tuned into the internet.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on esports?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like anything I would be interested in. For the most part, I don't enjoy watching people play video games.
Unless it's one of my live streams.
Okay.
Obviously.
No, okay. Now I was gonna make an amendment to that. I especially would think it's boring to watch sports video games.
Yes, for sure.
Even though if I were to play video games, I would probably most enjoy playing sports games. But watching someone play those games seems like it would be super fucking boring.
So, well, okay, but how about, I mean, like not specifically like sports video games, but like esports refers to like any like major league video game playing.
Oh, damn. Okay.
So like the big ones are like League of Legends and Dota, Overwatch League, a lot of fighting games.
Right on. Okay, so that just goes to show you how much I pay attention to this. But aren't there there are esports?
There are for sports games.
Okay.
Madden's pretty big.
Okay, I was gonna say, and I think there's like an NBA
yeah, I don't know which one is larger because I hate them both. But.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, it's definitely something that I would find more entertaining for a non-sports game, even though I'm someone who is a sports fan. I do think it's a bit weird that people would go to attend live.
I get what you're saying. I definitely do.
Because I mean, you're watching someone sit there.
You're still watching a screen. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how much benefit there is to sitting there. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe if you get to meet the gamers before or after, that might be some motivation to go. But other than that, I don't know how different it is from just watching it at home or whatever.
I will say, I have not attended any esports events myself, but I know a big part of it is kind of just the experience of being in a crowd of people, especially when it comes to bigger games that have a lot of uncertainty with who the winner will be, especially skill-based games.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd gets really riled up when there's a big turnaround in the middle of a fighting game, and that's a pretty cool experience. Definitely watching the crowd reactions and that kind of thing is really cool.
Yeah.
I like to watch videos like that. Do you consider it a sport? Do you consider it sporting?
I do not.
Why not?
Because I mean, it takes a ton of skill, obviously.
Right.
But I think to be a sport, it needs to require some sort of athletic ability.
So what about something like table tennis?
I would
does require athletic ability, but I wouldn't say that batting back and forth is any more taxing than moving the mouse back and forth.
I was gonna say table tennis is kind of on the fence for me. It kind of toes that line between a sport and a game.
Okay, so what do you define as a sport versus a game then? Now I'm curious about this.
I don't know. I don't know what the actual. See, I'm trying to come up with a definition off the top of my head. What would be my definition of a game and not a sport? It's darts, maybe.
So darts is a game and not a sport.
Yeah, but it's kind of on that same level, or I don't know.
I'm curious now that you're saying it. I've never really thought about this side of it before. I've heard I have heard the argument that sports need to be physical, and I disagree with it, which we'll get into in a minute. But I am curious now what the definition of a sport is.
I mean, for me personally, I kind of go back and forth on whether or not auto racing is a sport.
Just because they're just sitting in the car.
Yeah, I mean, you're driving a car. I don't know how much it takes a shit ton of skill. I just don't know how much athletics that actually takes. But I don't know. There is an endurance part of that, because you're sitting in an unair conditioned, steaming hot vehicle for 3 hours or something like that.
I gotcha.
So yeah, I mean there is that part of it, but
so the definition, the Oxford definition of sport is an activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. So even though a lot of video games couldn't technically be considered physical, I do consider them sports myself because they're heavily skill based and people find them extremely entertaining. And like, especially like, this is something that's not known to people who aren't like involved or into video games too much. Like, there is an absurd amount of practice and training that goes into esports. Like,
oh, absolutely.
And this is going to be a hot take. This is going to sound like a hot take, but it's actual fact. It more so than your average sporting thing. These guys, like, especially if you get into like the MOBA scene, like League of Legends and Dota, these guys, the teams that play these will, when you sign on with a team for those esports, they literally move into houses together and practice like 16 hours a day nonstop with like 1 day a week. It's absurd how much time they have to put into it and how much of a dedication it has to be. Like, for me, I couldn't ever play a game that much. Even my favorite games, I could never play that much.
Yeah.
Like, at the point that they're playing it, they're not even having fun with it anymore. Just purely for like the sake of winning and for the sake of like going up and getting better. And to me, that makes it a sport.
I mean, I don't think that the amount of time put into something makes it a sport.
That's not what I mean. I mean like the dedication to the skill of it.
Right. But I don't think just being dedicated to a specific skill makes that a sport. I mean, by that definition, playing the piano is a sport.
No, I wouldn't say that at all, because
no, I don't think it is.
You're not competing one-on-one against people.
I mean, you could.
It's not the same though. In that kind of situation, if you're going to a piano competition, you're being rated on your performance against another performance. When you're playing like a fighting video game, you are playing directly against someone else, and whoever is better at the game literally wins or loses. It's not a rating. It is an actual win or loss.
Well, I mean, by that definition, like, are board games considered a sport by you?
Well, that would come back to the same question of whether or not table tennis could be considered a sport. Like, there's certain board games that, like, yeah, with the amount of skill that goes in, like, isn't chess in the Olympics?
I didn't think so, but it might be. I know table tennis is.
Like, I would 100% consider like high level chess a sport.
See, I wouldn't. No. Table tennis. Now, the more I think about it, table tennis is definitely a sport.
1924, chess was from 1924. The Olympics had. Hang on, this is really confusing to read. For the 1924 Olympics, an attempt was made to include chess in the Olympic Games, but this failed because of problems with distinguishing between amateur and professional players. Interesting. Okay, so I don't think it's ever been in the Olympics.
Okay. Yeah, I would not consider that a sport. But that is the prime example of what I was trying to say, something that takes skill and practice, and you're competing against someone else, but because you're not exerting that physical athletic ability.
I really disagree with the physical part of it, 100%.
I mean, I think the physicality is just what makes a sport a sport.
I don't. I think what makes a sport is the pitting of people against one another in a skill-based competition. I don't think physicality is important.
So, I mean, then do you think Jeopardy is a sport?
No, that's...
You're competing against each other.
That's trivia. That's not skill.
Well, it takes that knowledge.
Knowledge isn't a skill. It's something you foster and grow through like an expansion of that knowledge.
You're right. You're gaining your knowledge to be more...
Learning and like growing your knowledge base. Like the ability to learn can be a skill, but knowledge itself is not a skill.
No, it is not a skill. Well, the ability to retain more information.
Yeah, effectively, like, the ability to grow your knowledge base. That is definitely a skill. That's stuff that definitely something that can be improved upon. But the actual amount of knowledge is not a skill. And that's what's being measured in a game like Jeopardy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly not trying to say that Jeopardy is a sport, but...
No, but what I'm saying, like, if you're thinking like that definition of it would make it invalid, then I would say it doesn't, because Jeopardy I would not consider a sport because it's not a skill-based game. It's a knowledge-based game.
Yeah, I suppose.
And just as a side note, the Olympic Committee does recognize chess as a sport. It just isn't included in the Olympics.
Well, then I guess is my personal definition.
I mean, that's how it's going to be. This has been a debate for a very, very long time. Like esports try very hard to be recognized as an official sport, and people with more traditional views of sports don't consider it because of that same physical exertion idea. But I think that sports are more based on the pitting of skilled people with their skills against one another.
I mean, I just think that I understand what you're saying. I think that there needs to be a distinction between a game and a sport.
I'd agree with you.
And I think that athletics is that definition.
I disagree with that.
Well, I mean, there are plenty of games where you can become more skillful at them.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make them sports.
No, I agree with you. I do agree that there's a problem of the definition between them. I just don't know what that definition is.
So then why do you think that it's a sport and not a game when generally regarded athletics is part of a sport?
I think it comes down to the players when I really think about it.
Okay.
The reason that I consider a lot of esports to be proper sports is because of the amount of time and energy that the players put into fostering that skill, and then the competition aspect of it is pitting that skill against one another. So the reason that chess could be considered a sport is for that same reason. Like chess is a board game, and like you and I playing chess, that wouldn't really be a sport because neither of us have like tried super hard to foster a skill at chess. Whether one of us wins or loses could completely come up to chance because neither one of us is terribly, focused on chess. But chess players who play competitively for a living are like chess grandmasters. They're playing a chess. They're playing a sport because they have spent like decades or just years, dozens of years fostering a skill, and then they're pitting their skill against someone else who is very skilled and has done the same thing. So I would consider like esports players sports players because they spend so much time fostering a skill to pit it against people who also foster that skill.
But I don't think with traditional sports, though, you don't have to be skillful. You don't have to even practice that skill. Like Mack, you're not a very athletic human because you don't like sports.
No,
you don't like to exert that physical activity.
Sure as hell don't.
But you could pick up a basketball, go outside, and you would be playing a sport.
See, I think by my definition, I wouldn't. I'd be playing a game of whatever you said, basketball.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Basketball, baseball, whatever.
Because basketball is still a game.
I think the individual event of one basketball playing session is where that is a game. You're playing a game of basketball, but basketball as a whole is a sport.
I don't know if I would agree with that because, like, when you get down to like high school sports, like those kids are doing the exact same thing that professional athletes are doing, just at a much minor scale. They still practice. They still, again, foster that skill to pit that against someone else. But, a couple kids who just casually play basketball, they're not, competing. They're just playing a game.
Right. But yeah, let's go out and play a game of basketball. The individual session, I think, is the game.
Yes.
But in general, it is always a sport.
I disagree.
But like, would you consider someone just playing like single player video game by themselves as playing sports?
No.
See, that's the thing.
But that's not what I'm talking about. Esports are never single player.
Right. But what I'm saying is I don't think the act of playing a video game in any capacity can be considered a sport.
See, that gets down to thinking of video games as, I would say that gets down to thinking of video games as a genre rather than a medium.
And actually, thinking about that almost makes me think of video games as less of a sport.
See, that is what people have been saying for years, and it makes people mad.
Because, I mean, if you're saying it's a sport because it's
I'm not saying video games as a whole are a sport. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
okay.
esports are sports. I'm saying the League of Legends League is a sports tournament. I'm saying the Overwatch League is a sports tournament. I'm saying me playing Monster Hunter, that's not a sport. That's just me playing a video game.
Oh, yeah, no. See, I don't. I think it's either a sport all the time or it's a sport none of the time.
I fully disagree with that.
Oh, nah, that's where we disagree.
But see, I've got the young people on my side, and we're gonna rule the earth after you. So, sucks to be you, boomer.
Oh, you've got a bunch of gamers on your side. Of course, they're all gonna agree with you.
I think esports should be recognized as proper sports. Those people work really hard to foster a specific skill, and they compete in it. That's what a sport is to me.
I mean, so what do you think about like car racing then? Do you think that's a sport?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I never disagreed with you when you said that.
No, you didn't. I was curious now that we talked this out some more.
I definitely think racing is a sport. I also think racing video games can be a sport.
I don't think so.
It's the same exact thing. Put a guy behind a wheel. He's just sitting in front of a screen instead.
Well, right. No, I agree with that, but I don't think racing in any capacity is really a sport, video game or in an actual car.
Well, then the world disagrees with you on that one.
I mean, pretty much, but pretty much everyone except for the racing community. I feel like the racing community and the gaming community they should probably team up with each other.
I don't think the racing community likes us because it's a bunch of fucking rednecks out there racing their cars in the mud.
True. Maybe this is the this is
the bridge that brings us together.
Maybe this is how we solve all the world's problems. We bring gamers and rednecks together through arguing that their things that they love to do are in fact sports.
Maybe.
I like it.
I think through this conversation, I have found my definition of sports. I didn't really know what it was before, but
I mean, my definition has definitely not changed. It definitely still requires athletic ability.
I disagree. I think it's all based on fostering and competing in a certain skill.
Nah. You know what? Maybe I'll think about it some more over the week and see if my opinion changes.
I will say while we're talking about esports too, like what the fuck is up with the esports community and choosing the fucking most boring possible games to play?
I don't know. What do they typically play?
So the biggest games the biggest esports are MOBAs. I do not remember what MOBA stands for. MOBAs are the worst, least interesting games to play. There's League of Legends and Dota, which are the huge ones. The League of Legends and Dota tournaments bring in ridiculous amounts of money. If I remember correctly, the Dota 2 International, which is their big yearly tournament, the champions of the Dota 2 International, they win something like $5 million for their entire like 5-person team.
Yeah.
And here's what League of Legends and Dota is, okay? So you have an overhead view of a map.
Okay.
You click on a screen to have your guy walk across the map.
Mm-hmm.
Then you press some buttons to fight against the enemy team, and like these matches last 30 to 40 minutes. And what it is like there's these little computer controlled minions. They fight each other at random points in the map.
Okay.
You spend the first like half the game helping them beat back the enemy. So that you can farm resources, so that you can upgrade your character. You upgrade your character every match, like it resets after the match. Then you can go into like areas of the map that are called forests, where you fight like bosses and gain like team-wide buffs.
Okay.
And then you have to take down sentries and turrets, and each team has like a big core that you then defeat. And that's how you win the match, is defeating their core first.
Okay.
And so like the latter half of the game is like everybody's got their resources and their upgrades. Everybody travels around as a group, finding the enemy team, beating their asses, and then taking down their shit. It's the most boring shit ever to watch. It is so fucking mind-numbing, and playing it feels exactly the same. It is not fun at all. It is heavily skill-based, but it is so fucking boring. Why is it the biggest esport?
I don't know.
The only fun part of League of Legends or Dota tournaments is the highlight reels that come out after they're done. Like they're so fucking boring to watch live. I can't imagine how people do it.
Yeah, I don't.
I do have a unique opinion in that though, because MOBAs are super popular and tons of people play them. But God, they're the worst, lowest form of video game as far as I'm concerned.
Gotcha.
There are other esports that are really insanely fun to watch, though. Like fighting games, especially like Smash Brothers, super fun to watch.
Okay.
Like watching people who are super skilled at Smash Bros, it's insanely cool. And like I said, like certain like when there's a big upset in a match where one person was like super close to losing and then they managed to turn it around and win. Like I've seen like professional fighting game matches where one player had like full health, another guy had like 10% of his health, and that guy won. Like he just fucking completely turned the tides and fucked the other guy up.
Yeah,
it's so fun to watch.
Nice. I mean, maybe your next 24-hour live stream you'll have to play some fighting games.
I fucking suck at fighting games. I hate playing them.
Okay.
Like I like fighting games. They are fun to play. I love Smash Bros. Like that's the only one that I'll play casually. But like I've tried to get into Dragon Ball Fighters. I tried to like take Smash seriously. Those games get me so fucking tilted. I get so angry playing them.
Damn.
I'm so bad at them. I fucking hate playing fighting games like on a more serious level. Like if I'm just playing them casually with my friends, that's fine. Specifically Smash Bros. Like other games would be less fun, but like, God, it sucks to get your ass beat in those games.
Ugh. Yeah, I can see that. If that's, yeah.
It's so frustrating because sometimes it starts to feel like you have no option. Like I've played matches of Dragon Ball Fighters where it's just like the person kept fucking comboing me, kept beating my ass, and I like never got a chance to block. I never got a chance to get an attack in because I just wasn't as good.
Yeah,
and it felt like shit, and I got super pissed off. I hate that shit.
Not trying to like go super back in depth with the whole game sport thing. How do you feel about poker?
I don't even know how to play it. I never figured it out.
I mean, that is definitely something where it does involve skill, but I also don't think that. That's
are you asking if I think it's a sport?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'd definitely consider it. Well, I don't know. No, I changed my mind because that game is heavily chance based. It's very heavily like bluffing and like actual skill based, but like if you just don't get good cards, that really screws you over throughout the game.
There is that aspect to it for sure, but there is part of it that is chance. But
I mean, it is very heavily skill, but I don't know. That's an interesting question. I don't know if the chance part of it would completely ruin it for me or not, because Magic and Pokemon also have really heavy like competition tournaments, but they're also heavily chance based. Like sometimes you just don't get the cards you want and you get fucked as a result, while the other guy gets all the cards he needs.
Right.
You know? I don't know. I don't know if the chance or random number game aspect of it changed it at all for me.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I kind of hate card games. Like not like Magic, obviously, but like playing card games. I've never really enjoyed playing them.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really gotten into it, like poker or like whatever, blackjack or whatever. I mean, whatever. I'll play a game of Uno every now and then, but
Uno's pretty great. I just feel like, like like the only time I've ever asked to play card games is when I'm at my white family's house. Like it feels like it feels like it feels like sitting down to play cards to pass the time is like a super white folk thing to do.
Yeah, I can see that.
Super like old white folk kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's and especially here in the Midwest, fucking Euchre. How do you play Euchre?
Oh, I forgot about that one. I actually, it's been, I don't think I've played Euchre in I've played it maybe like once in like 5 years.
Euchre, I don't fucking get Euchre.
But like, I do love it. I do fucking love Euchre.
I don't understand it. Like and these sons of bitches, like I when I was younger, I like tried to learn how to play it, and people were like, "Oh, just watch, you'll figure it out." And I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, "How do you know what the trump card is? What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this?" And like, you don't learn by watching it. The game is so goddamn complex. What the fuck is going on in that game?
Okay, I will say this because I felt the same way you did when I first learned. It took me a while to like really like full on get it, but it's kind of like someone just like hits a light switch at some point And you go from being like, I don't fucking get this, to being like, oh God, I was such a fucking idiot. How did I not understand this? Like almost overnight. So like once you get it, it is incredibly easy. It's kind of like riding a bike where you're like, God, I'm never going to be able to balance this fucking metal 2-wheel machine without falling over. And then once you learn how, you're like, how the fuck was I falling over doing this? Like all you do is pedal.
I gotcha. I see what you mean.
So if you know how to play, it is a lot of fun, but it is incredibly frustrating if you don't understand. I will give you that.
The game is like brain melting. It's like all those same family gatherings where people tried to get me to play cards. They'd be like, let's play Euchre. And I'd be like, I don't know how to play Euchre. And they're like, just watch, you'll understand. Never fucking got it.
You can learn from just watching, but it takes time. It's not like oh, hey, let's sit down and in 30 minutes, you'll be an expert at it. Like, I feel like, because I learned my freshman year at college when I lived in a dorm, and like me and like the guys that lived across the hall, we would play every night, like probably like 6 nights a week. And it still probably took me like, I don't know, at least like a month to get to the point where I was like, I understand fully what's happening.
Yeah, I'm not interested in investing that kind of thing into
a sport like that.
and the fucking Euchre, you know, like I don't even like card games to begin with. I'm not gonna sit here and watch people play it for a month to figure it out. Fuck it. I'll go with the rest of my life not knowing Euchre. When I move out of the Midwest, no one will give a shit.
This is probably a really funny topic because from what I understand, Euchre isn't super well known outside of the Midwest.
It isn't. It's a super Midwest thing.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying, like, if I move out of Michigan, people will stop asking me if I know how to play Euchre.
Right.
They'll just, that question will disappear.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man.
If you never heard of Euchre, don't look it up. Game fucking sucks.
For those of you who don't know what it is, it's very similar to the game Hearts.
I don't even know what that is.
It's the same kind of logic goes into like how you win, kind of that kind of thing.
I don't get it. Poker, I at least get a little bit. I've just never tried to learn poker.
Yeah.
Like, poker seems feasible to me just by watching it, but like Euchre is just my monkey brain can't do it, you know?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe one day I'll have to try to teach you.
I feel like I'd rather die not knowing than ever figure it out at this point. Like, people have lied to me so much about it. Just watch it, you understand. Fuck you.
Fuck you guys. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to like, I don't know. I'll have to have you teach me how to play like Monster Hunter, and I'll show you how to play Euchre or something. We'll trade skill sets we have no desire in learning.
I wonder how hard it would be to teach you to play Monster Hunter, because that game is fucking complex.
Well, good. I'm glad, because I just literally picked a video game that I knew for sure was something that you played. That
that game is. I mean, even for gamers, it's hard to learn. Like the biggest hurdle for people playing Monster Hunter is how inaccessible it is.
Really?
Yeah. For years, up until Monster Hunter World came out in 2018, like the biggest hurdle for playing Monster Hunter was just figuring it out, because the game itself basically fights you. It like hides shit from you. Like, it doesn't teach you how to play itself.
Okay.
Like, you know, Monster Hunter has 14 different weapon types, and there's a bunch of different monsters, and there's a bunch of different subsystems within it. But basically, all of the tutorials for the game are like, here's your heavy attack, here's your light attack, go play. That's not what the fucking game is.
So basically, do they want you to like figure it out through playing it more?
They do, but
and like stumbling upon like, oh damn, if I do this, that happens.
It's essentially, yes, and like a lot of people are not willing to do that, and I don't blame them. But it's tons of little things. Like the weapon that I play in particular is called the Charge Blade. There's a lot of shit that you have to manage with the Charge Blade that goes beyond like light and heavy attacks. So like it's a sword and shield that then transitions into an axe. When you attack with the sword and shield, it builds up energy that then like gets lodged in the sword. Mm-hmm. If you build up too much energy, you can't like hit the monster anymore. You always deflect off of it. And the game, at least until Monster Hunter World came out, really didn't have a good way of explaining to you that like, oh, you can charge that energy into files that you can use in other attacks, and then you can attack normally again. So you just start fucking deflecting off the monster and you're like, what the fuck's going on? Why can't I? What's happening? And the game really doesn't try to help you with it.
Oh, damn.
And like little other things like, okay, so there's traps in the game. If you place a trap, monster gets stuck into it. What they don't tell you is the more you use traps, the monster becomes resistant to it and they'll stop getting stuck for as long.
Okay.
Or like, okay, so sometimes you'll get a quest to capture a monster and the game doesn't fucking explain how to capture a monster because up to this point you've just been killing them.
Oh, damn.
What you have to do is trap them and then hit them with tranquilizer bombs, right?
Okay.
So if you didn't know that they got resistant to traps and you trapped them a bunch of times throughout your hunt, then you screwed yourself in actually capturing it. And even at that point, you have to switch to a separate item, the tranquilizer bomb, and hit them with it to actually capture them. So if you just trap them, that's not enough.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. So that's like for the longest time, the hardest part of getting into Monster Hunter was just learning how to play it. Monster Hunter World did a really good job of making it accessible to beginners, but even then, it's still like there's still so much that you just can't learn unless you like watch a YouTube guide or play it a lot.
Yeah. Well, I will say I'm glad we got on this topic because I'm glad you brought up Euchre. This is like the prime time of year for Euchre, like sitting outside on like a Saturday night.
Yeah. Doing some white people shit. Yeah. Drinking some brews and, you know, playing them cards. It's just such like a middle-aged mom game. And that's how I always think of it. And maybe it's because the people who try to get me to play it were my mom and my aunt. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think it's exclusive. I don't think there's a specific demographic other than Midwest people.
There definitely isn't. That's just what I think of it as at this point.
I gotcha.
But definitely a Midwest thing.
Yeah.
It probably didn't get out of here because it was so fucking hard to explain.
All right.
It's like we can't teach this any further out than it's already gone.
Like nobody else is going to learn this.
No one else is going to learn this fucking game.
Oh God.
Just give them war and call it a day.
Right. Well, I imagine the origins of Euchre because you don't use the entire deck of cards.
Fuck that.
You only use I think it's like 9 through ace. And yeah, like I imagine
just lost their kings and queens and jacks. They were just like, well, we got to do something with this.
Well, no, you use those. You don't use anything below a 9. So
okay.
2 through 8.
I was thinking of ace as a 1.
Oh, I gotcha. 2 through 8 you don't use. So I just imagine that like somebody lost some of their cards and
let's come up with something.
Well, what else can we do? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Wait, maybe you don't use the ace. No, I don't think you do now that I'm thinking about it. No.
Mike doesn't even know how to play the game.
No, because you only have 5 cards. So yeah.
The other thing I had about Euchre, I'm just gonna cap this off with some more hatred. Is that like people like to play it in teams?
Well, you can only play it in teams.
I didn't know that. So you can only play it in teams, and so people would like invite me to play, and then they'd pair me up with somebody and have us play in teams, and I'd be sitting there like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, and you expect me to help you win? And then like I'd like do some stupid move and they give me shit for it. It's like, I don't know what's happening. What is this game?
Oh yeah. Yeah, pissing off your partner's never a thing you want to do.
I'd rather jack off my partner. Have a good day, everybody.